The sister of a Dunedin man killed by a tourist driver last month wants testing and more help for foreign drivers. 4 New Zealanders have been killed in accidents involving tourist drivers that were at fault in the country this year. Lemon Ma, aged 41 of Shanghai, pleaded guilty to careless driving causing death after crossing the centre line on State Highway 1 near Shag Point. This is between Oamuru and Dunedin, smashing into Riley Baker's oncoming motorcycle on August 13. Yes, that recently. He was sentenced today to pay $30,000 reparation, 150 hours community work, and disqualified from driving for 2 years in New Zealand. A short time ago, I asked Sarah Baker, Riley's sister, what it was like to be in court when the sentence was handed down.
In some ways it was a relief that it's done, but in other ways it really does feel like his life didn't matter because community service and reparation, we just didn't think it was enough.
Yeah, and it's all happened so fast. We talked about this the last time we spoke. You know, this has happened at an extraordinary rate, and so suddenly that's it. You're meant to go on with your lives. And of course there's not going to be closure, but is there anything satisfactory for you about this resolution?
It is nice to have it over and done with and not have to deal with so many phone calls and from, police and victim support and all the different things that happen when someone dies. So in that sense, having a bit of peace and quiet will be nice, but at the same time, you're grieving and you're hurt and never goes away.
No. Can you talk us through now the facts of the accident in which Riley died? What exactly happened? Now that sentencing's done, what do you believe happened? What has the $30,000 reparation and the community service and the disqualification, all that, been ordered as a result of?
So Riley was travelling south from Oamaru to Dunedin, and Mr. Ma was visiting New Zealand with his wife and child, and they were travelling north, and they seen a rest stop sign at Shag Point, and he decided that he would stop and have a look at the beach, and he crossed the centre line without seeing Riley and the other cars behind him, which caused Riley's death. Yeah.
So he just hadn't...
Yeah.
So this is a classic example of somebody who was used to driving on the other side of the road, forgetting where the traffic's coming from, really, by the sound of things.
Potentially, yes. Like, it wasn't said. He's just said that he doesn't remember seeing Riley or the other cars, but at the same time, I guess he's in his own shock and he only really remembers the collision rather than a lot of what happened before it, which is kind of, I guess, understandable when, he's had to go through that trauma as well. But, possibly that's probably the reason why he did cross that centre line like that.
Have you spoken to him? Have you met him? Has your family, Riley's family, met with him?
We saw him for the first time today and we shared the same waiting room afterwards and stuff, and I think he does want to meet with us before he has to go back to his own country, when his community service is finished, and that's something that we'll have to think about. But at least it was nice to hear today in court that he was really sorry and he was taking it really hard as well. At least he cared, about how we were feeling.
Yes, whilst you have lost so much, he has been involved in something terrible, and I guess that is nightmarish for him. But the bigger question now is, what would you like us all to learn from this? Is this an example of something that could be prevented if we had greater rigour about people arriving in New Zealand, getting rental cars and setting off on their big adventures? Is there a larger issue to be taken from this?
I think probably everybody's at some stage probably drives a bit too carefree, and we don't probably always concentrate 100%, and I think it really brings home that you do actually have to concentrate 100% of the time. Otherwise, things like this can happen. But as far as tourists coming to our country and driving, I do think there needs to be a lot more help for them so that they can drive in our country safely, and some kind of test or something to make sure that they understand all our road rules and they're going to keep themselves and Kiwis safe.
It's Sarah Baker, Riley's sister, coming home from court this afternoon. In the week after Riley's death, we spoke to his girlfriend, his partner, Amy, who of course told us the story that Riley's organs had been donated to seven different people, and really are saving lives. And we would like to thank the family for all their dealings with us in the terrible weeks since Riley died.